I've been in business for over 10 years. I've personally consulted with over 2,000 brands, and we've generated over $100 million in sales for our clients. We're currently working with brands in 75 different countries around the world, and in the last 12 months alone, we've helped over 250 clothing brands. Now I'm gonna share with you 10 brutal truths about growing a clothing brand, all in this one video. Let's go. All right, so number one is to niche down 3 layers to dominate a market and become number one. I honestly think the best way for you to reach somebody is to become and focus on becoming number one in a market. I learned this from Noah Kagan. He is the founder of AppSumo. He used to own Sumo. He has other small companies. He was like number 30 at Facebook and number 10 or whatever it meant, but very smart guy. And he said, don't try to compete with everybody. Try to be number one in your space. And that's what we are trying to do on our own world, but this is about you. So for you as a clothing brand owner, niche down 3 layers. So what do I mean by this? All right, so you have apparel. So this is number one. Second layer could be like streetwear. And then the third layer is Christian. You've broken down 3 specific layers here. If you wanted to go 1 layer deeper, how could you do it? But at the minimum, go 3 layers deep. Most people are just selling streetwear. So now they're competing with everybody. And then you get into people who are like, I'm gonna be a Christian streetwear, I'm gonna be a hip hop or a 90s R&B or whatever it may be, but go 3 layers deep. If you're able to go 3 layers deep, you're able to niche into a very specific market, and you're able to research that particular market, you're able to talk to that particular audience. Who is a Christian streetwear brand owner or customer, and how can you speak directly to them? Much easier than just trying to talk about streetwear. This is going after a much broader stroke and much harder to really kind of break through the noise. Okay, so quick story really quickly about us that I think will make some sense. Okay, so we started out 2014 doing some side stuff and really kind of jumping into the brand. 2015 really take this on full time and quit our jobs. My business partner and I, which we'll talk about here in a second, Christian, we both finished college and then started the company. And what we did was we basically took on any job, right? And maybe that's you'll take on any customer, you'll make anything work, and you're just trying to make money. That works to an extent, but then you realize that you can't serve everybody, okay? So we try to serve everybody. We did everything from roofers to plumbers. Our very first client was a clothing brand. Our very first client was a boutique, and we worked with a lot of clothing brands. Probably 50% of our clients were clothing brands, but we also took on roofers. We also took on realtors. We also took on dentists and chiropractors. And it's like, okay, how can we serve all of these people? How can we really know them that well? And so we kind of did a broad stroke across everything. Then we niched down, right? So we were marketing agency serving everybody to, okay, we're gonna just do e-commerce. So clothing brands and anybody else just basically selling online. We can get results from them right away. We'll use Shopify. And so we were good there. For 6 more months we did that. We're like, this still just doesn't feel right. That was our level 2. Okay, so we started out here just serving everybody. And then we went to level 2. Okay, we did e-commerce, and then we went a 3rd layer deeper and we said, okay, we're gonna do clothing brands. And then at that point, we're kind of niched down into like Shopify. Now we do work with Shopify. We also work with a little bit of WordPress, try to get people off of that. And we do work with people, some Wix and Squarespace. Again, those are fine, but the majority of the people that we work with are clothing brand owners now. So we had to basically get rid of all of our clients. We had to go through this whole process of like eliminating people. But what it did was it allowed us to become and focus on becoming number one in a space. How do we become the number one clothing brand marketing agency in the world? I'm not saying we are number one yet. We are on that path. We are getting better every single day. We are trying to create the best products in the world. That is exactly what you need to do for yours. I will tell you, life is much easier when you talk to one person. And just like you are on the other side of the screen, hopefully you're in that space. And if you're not, I hope you're getting some value from this video too. But we really are just speaking to those people. That's number one. Number 2, you need to follow the 5 ones, which I have now changed to the 6 ones. Okay, so let's jump into this. So number 1 is one audience, and I'll write these all out, and then we can talk about it. So one audience, one offer, one message, one traffic source. So this is my new one right here that I've added, one winning product. So it used to be one audience, one offer, one message, one traffic source for 1 year. Now it's like you got to have a winning product. Specifically the clothing, I want to apply this. So you got to have these 6 ones. What does this do? Reiterates a lot of what's going on over here. So apparel, streetwear, Christian streetwear. So Christian streetwear brands going after one audience. One offer. An offer doesn't have to be a discount. An offer can be a free gift. It could be free shipping. It could be, if I was a Christian streetwear brand, I would be giving away devotional, or I would be giving some kind of ebook or testimonial or something of value. That could be an offer. One message could be a message of hope. We'll talk about that a little bit later. So message needs to be clear. One traffic source, dominate one particular traffic source. If you're watching this on YouTube, awesome, thank you. Our main focus is on YouTube, honestly. We do create content across TikTok, we do create it on Instagram, we do send out emails, we do create content on LinkedIn, but our main focus is YouTube. That's why you're watching it here. Care about you guys. One winning product. If you're a clothing brand, you've got to, and I mentioned Christian streetwear brand, but if you're a boutique, stay with me here. Whether it is Judy blue jeans or a certain tunic dress or maxi skirt, doesn't matter, that's a category. You gotta have a winning product. And if you're a private label, you have to have a winning product. There's a brand out of here in Dallas. They have one particular type of outfit. It's called, I think it's called like the get ready with me dress or the get ready thing. It's like for women who are getting ready in the morning, getting their kids ready while also putting on makeup, whatever. They have a winning product. And then you need to do that for 1 year. This, honestly, this formula here, believe it or not, if you actually follow it, most people won't. I hope you are one of them. This is a 7-figure difference, right? So this is how you get to $1 million. And then we'll talk about doing outside of that later, but this is $1 million. That will build $1 million company. The problem is you're thinking in your head right now if you're not there, but I also got to do Instagram and Facebook and YouTube and all those things, and that's honestly why only 6% of people ever make it to this number. But if you are able to laser focus here, that will get you to a 7-figure company. Now, how do you get to 5, 10, 20 million? That's a whole different conversation. But if you follow this process, and even if you're already at $1 million and you get back to it and you kind of trim your fat, you'll become more profitable by following these 5 areas, right? Or 6. Still learning that too. I was teaching this at a networking event, getting live feedback. I was literally working on a board just like this, honestly, which we just started doing again. I like writing on there. I know you guys don't necessarily care for my writing, don't hate on me. But I was doing this at a live networking event, and every single person, except for like one person, said that they can't do that. They got to go to all these networking events. They got to talk to a lot of different people. And it's like, well, do you have to do those things? Is that an invisible script? Shout out to Ramit Sethi for the term, the invisible script. But you tell yourself these things that may not be true. And so as I was teaching it afterwards, everybody said, this is amazing, but I can't implement it. And then the one person who actually did grew this brand. He no longer goes to networking. That's not the point of the story, is that you shouldn't network. You should. Your networking does matter. But he was the only person who went there and actually applied this and was like, you know what, everything I've done for years hasn't necessarily worked. I've had some success, but I've never gotten past a plateau. And so he applied this, he grew his brand, and it wasn't until recently that he actually told me, hey, what you said there, that made sense. Now he twisted it and made a little bit of his own, but it really resonated with him because he had already tried it. Sometimes we can't see the forest through the trees because we're too busy staring at the forest. And what I'm telling you right now is that business is not extremely hard. People make it hard. It's going to get harder naturally, but that's why we have to stay focused and simplify it. You hear it all the time, KISS, so keep it super simple. They use a different term, but I'm going to say keep it super simple. Number 3, focus on increasing your average order value. Most of the time, people try to increase their conversion rate, and I'm a fan of that, or lower the cost to acquire a customer. But those levers are not always a straight line when it comes to improvements, but increasing the average order value is. And what I mean by that is, so if you try to improve your conversion rate, you can make those changes, and it actually does worse. You could also be trying to make some changes to your Facebook ads or Instagram ads or Meta or YouTube, whatever you're using, Pinterest. You could be doing those changes, and it actually causes your cost to acquire a customer to go up. Whereas if you focus on the average order value, typically there's not going to be a negative impact from this. You can actually just increase the average order value, which makes you more profitable. Now, this is how I do it. I would install a couple of apps to honestly make this a little bit easy, okay? The apps that we would suggest, number 1 is Vitals. There's a link for them down in the description below. You can check that out. Highly suggest Vitals. They have multiple apps inside of one. So if you're needing multiple things like reviews and upsells, downsells, etc., then check out Vitals. If you're looking for something more of like a bundle app only, then Sell Easy is a great way to do it. Bundle your products and use a calculator like this. So this is our offer calculator template. This calculator will help you figure out, okay, how do you increase the average order value? You can bundle things together. Those apps that I mentioned can help you. That will upsell things. So you can upsell items. So if I bought my wife actually did this, I think a couple weeks ago. They did a crazy deal. I found out this company, and I want to give them a shout out. Maybe I'll find out who they are, but it's a Christian clothing brand. They basically, all of their profit, they just give it away. So it's cool. It's just they have operating expenses, and then they just literally give it away. So pay employees, operating expense, give everything away. But they had like 2 shirts. They were super high quality. Some of my favorite shirts, they were like $25 each. And so 2 shirts for 50 bucks, and then it was a buy one, get one free. So 2 shirts for 25 after that. So an amazing offer. So they were upselling. If you bought one, it's 25. If you got 2, you got it for 25 as well. I think you just had to pay for shipping or something like that. So really cool offer. They use an offer to do that, but then you could also do a bundle. So it's like if you buy one shirt, you could get a second one, bundle those 2 together, or buy a hat, get a t-shirt, bundle that together, or buy 2 dresses, whatever it is, you can bundle things together. That increases your average order value. What we use for this calculator though, you need to put in your numbers to actually make sure that the numbers make sense before you go and actually start to give a deal or an offer, because if you give away the farm and you're actually like, if this is over here and you're like, oh, our actual profit is negative, well, then you probably shouldn't do the offer because you need to focus on the average order value here. So this calculator, if you want it, just comment the word calculator down below. I'll send it over to you. You can put in your cost of goods, your marketing, your fixed costs, and then we can talk through exactly how this brand will work. You can work through this on your own brand, and then you can go through here on the actual offers and figure out, okay, which ones should I actually use and which ones can actually make me more money. The other thing that we do, and I've talked about this a lot, is a tool called Joofy. Okay, so you can increase the average order value with great customer service. So Joofy is really cool. It's AI. You can use, it's built on the back of ChatGPT, so you can actually train it how you want it to be. So it's like the perfect employee, I guess does exist maybe, but it's 24/7. They act on your behalf. They can upsell, they can downsell, they can also message, I believe, Instagram DMs. You get a bunch of people who abandon cart because of shipping issues or not finding the right size. Joofy can help you. So super, super helpful. You can check them out. There is a link in the description down below. And I think depending on the amount of traffic, it's also free. So if you got a lower amount of traffic to the site, you can test this out, use it for your brand, and it is free. Okay, so number 4 are the 3 I's. Super easy, and this is the 3 I's of content creation. It's where most people, not mess up, it's where most people fall short, okay? So the first I is to imitate, okay? Then you want to iterate, and then you want to innovate. Most people go to innovate first, and they go to try to make up their own cool thing. And the problem with doing something that's cool or innovative is that you don't know if it's gonna work. The chances of success are much lower. Doing an iteration, a little bit higher, and then it's kind of like an upside down triangle at this point, right? Like your chances of success extremely high here versus down. Innovating something, right? You got a small chance. Iterating something that's already worked, decently high, and imitating something within your own brain, obviously much higher chance. The way that we do this, I'm giving you guys everything. So let me show you foreplay. So I save in here all the time, usually 10 to 20 a week. But let's just see here. Here's some stuff that you can innovate. So different types of flat lays, great. Here's a video. Here's another one. Again, copy for your brand. They're just different hooks. Instead of cheesesteak, could be a clothes. Super popular right now with the remote. But if you want that, like I said, it just comes to word foreplay down below. But you can start there, you can imitate, and now you can create your own variations of it, iteration. And then from that, you're like, okay, this gives me some inspiration. Let me do something cool. That 20% color outside the lines, do something like innovation. Most people mess this up, is why their content does not work. I just want to say a quick hey, howdy, and hello. My name is Aaron. I'm one of the co-founders here at Bet Branding, and we specialize in helping clothing brands just like you grow and scale online. My business partner Christian over here focuses on Shopify, websites, themes, apps, everything like that. And didn't mean to rap, but hello. And my focus is the marketing, messaging, advertising, and we drop new videos for you every single week, at least 2 videos every single week. And if you've gotten any value out of this video at all, please leave us a nice little like and subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the latest content out there. Now, if you do this in the next 3 seconds, I will share with you the best Halloween movie of the 1990s. All right, so number 5, halfway through, relevance. At scale is what grows brands. So, for example, this luxury brands mess this up completely because they think that they should only focus on brand and they have a certain perception that they have to keep. Well, when what people really buy is relevant to them. So again, if I'm going back to the Christian streetwear brand, if I'm a Christian in a streetwear brand and there's somebody who's, for example, Forrest Frank, and there's a lot of other bigger people coming into the hip hop scene for Christian music, it's probably going to align with the Christian streetwear brand. And so if I created content around Forrest Frank, then I become relevant. And then people realize, I'm a real person. I'm a real brand. They mess up. Luxury brands mess this up all the time because they are so focused on a perception that they are not relevant. People want to make sure that you're actually relevant to them, and that is what purchases come from. So I just want you to really think about this one. It is an extremely big one. I hope that you got a lot out of this. Relevance at scale is how you grow your brand. How relevant you are to your audience. So taking things from pop culture and becoming human with your brand, very good idea. Number 6, hire the best of the best. Building a great company really only comes down to the people and the product. Now we'll talk about product quality here in a second, but you need to know that this important piece, right? Even if you're not hiring W-2 employees yet, or even contractors, you need to make sure that you hire the best and think about the best software. If you can only pick 3 software companies to work with or app companies, pick the best. You are only as strong as your weakest link, and every single person you hire should be leveling the person up. You shouldn't have a 7 on your team hiring and then bringing in a 6 who brings in a 5. You should be hiring 10s who bring in the next level up. Everybody should be leveling themselves up. The best employees are what actually helps you grow your brand. It's the only thing that helps you think outside of the box. I mean, you have ChatGPT and Claude and Gemini and whatever else. However, if you don't have somebody intelligent enough or thinking outside of the box enough to prompt those things, they don't know what is relevant. We had some people applying to our email marketing position, and all of them sounded great on the first interview, but then when you got into the weeds, it's like, oh, they actually didn't know the answer, right? They got some answers from ChatGPT. One particular person got the answers from ChatGPT, and they knew the answers. They could research it, but they didn't know why they got those answers. There's a difference between knowledge and knowing, and you've really got to go and say, hey, look, I'm trying to scale this thing. I don't have the time to put in 10 years of work. I want to hire the person with 10 years of work. And trust me, I understand you may not have the funds to be able to bring on that person. I was in that position. I would highly suggest, there's no shout out, no affiliate for this at all, but check out Virtual Staff Finder. Bring on somebody virtual to help you. If you need help with that, like I said, Virtual Staff Finder, a great place, great resource for you to do so. But when you bring on somebody, make sure they're leveling you up in that area. You cannot be the best of the best. Alex Hormozi calls it the Christmas tree, right? So if you got one person up at the very top who's got the brain, the biggest brain here, and that's all that's focused on, well, it's a very weak company. Whereas if you expand the Christmas tree, you have a very wide company, I would say knowledge base, and a very wide expansion of knowledge to grow the brand. So you really want to keep hiring 10s and filling up that top of the Christmas tree versus going down and everybody is kind of dependent on one person. Please, please, please hire the best. You can do it from the very beginning. Get creative with your ways to do this. It is very, very important. Don't just hire somebody because you feel like it's a good fit, or your uncle down the street, your cousin down the street, just because they're family. All right, so number 7, we're gonna focus on the mission, but before we get on to that, just hold up 1 second. I wanna say that, hey, if you're a clothing brand owner and you wanna jump into the specifics of your brand, whether you're trying to hit your first $1 million month, or first $500 month, you can jump on a free 45-minute strategy session with us. There are limited spots for this, so go check out the link in the description down below, and we will see you on the other side. Number 7 is to focus on that long-term mission and vision for your brand. It's very difficult, and in the early stages of our company, right, the very first stage was like, hey, we just need to make enough money to be able to quit our jobs or stay so we don't have to go back to our 9-to-5s. So that is also a good mission to have short term. Long term, you got to have a bigger picture. You got to have something much bigger than that. For example, many of you guys probably know the vision or the mission of Bombas, okay? So Bombas, they started out because they wanted to help the people in homeless or in the not so good situations, and so they would donate a pair of socks for everyone that they sold. Their long-term mission and what they're trying to do, they probably have a dollar amount or a number of people that they want to serve, but they have a reason that they get up and go to work every single day and want to make an impact. For us, it's how do we serve 1,000, right? And our goal is to get to this by the end of December 2025, but how do we help 1,000 clothing brand owners get to their goals by the end of December 2025? That is our kind of short-term mission right now. It's coming up very quickly. You've got to have that mission. It gets buy-in from everybody else, and it also helps you have actual purpose. Number 8, sell at a premium. It does you no good to be the second cheapest option. I'll say it to you right now. Your premium doesn't mean that you have to charge $75 for a t-shirt. It doesn't mean you have to charge $50, but it does mean that you should charge a premium for your products. If you are the lowest product cost, if you are a commodity and everybody's just comparing you to a price, it's very difficult to scale. It's very difficult to grow. It is very difficult for you to have enough margin to be able to hit your $1 million, whether it's $1 million a year, $1 million a month, whatever. It's very difficult to do that without margins. I've met some amazing brands. Now, honestly, we've done a lot of content around this before. We met a lot of amazing brands where they literally could not scale because even the ads were amazing, the cost to acquire a customer was amazing, but they just could not get rid of the fact that they had very bad margins. Okay, they're working off like 40, 50% profit margins, and in the clothing space, it's very difficult to try to scale like that. Now, you can start there, but very difficult to do it at scale to grow. Number 9, one that I threw in here, and I was gonna do something different for number 9, but I think this one matters a lot, right? So your manufacturer does matter. Okay, whether your manufacturer is Printful or Printify, or whether your manufacturer is overseas, I would find a way to become friends with your manufacturer. Relationship building is extremely important, and in the business, it could save you a ton of time and headache and unneeded stress, and I promise you, your manufacturer is going to run into issues, you're going to run into issues, and if you have good communication with them, it's going to help out a lot. I'm a big fan of finding somebody who's a manufacturer in your country, and especially if they're down the street, even better. But at least in your country or somewhere in a time zone that you can speak to them regularly, you should be known by them. We're big fans of Threadbird. They're out of Florida, so if you're in the US, check them out. You can do a 3PL, you can do print on demand, but highly suggest for you to check out somebody like them or specifically them. Like I said, they have like 20 plus years of experience, great guys there. I'll have a link for them down in the description below, so go check them out. But you need to have a good relationship with your manufacturer. It makes growing and scaling the business a lot easier. We had a huge drop and it did really well. We need more product ASAP. Okay, cool, we'll move you to the side. The manufacturer says, cool, we'll move you to the side, and then, hey, we'll get you the product out. Or, hey, I had an issue with the printing. Is there anything we can do to fix it? Right? Having that relationship, extremely, extremely helpful and just really alleviates a lot of unneeded stress. All right, so number 10, focus on the woo-woo, okay? So in the internet world, they call it woo-woo. Some people call it spirituality. Some people call it whatever it is. I will tell you, like, all of the things that people are like, yeah, grind it out, or like, you can still go out and party every day and then still make money. It's very short term. The people who are telling you that have a very small grasp on what actually helps. I will tell you right now that this is years of experience and of looking at very successful people. I'm not saying it's not possible, but what I'm telling you is that if you follow this type of routine or these types of attributes, or you're able to apply these things to your life, you're gonna be in a much better position. Do the journaling, extremely helpful. You can look at the stuff that's going on today, you can get the ideas out of your head, which stops the anxiety. You can look back from a previous year and see how far you've come. You gotta check out the book called The Gap and the Gain. Really focus on the gain that you've had, not necessarily the gap. Hire a coach. Hire somebody who's ahead of you. Find somebody who's been a step or 2 or 3 or 5, 10 steps ahead of you, and listen to what they say so you can save yourself time. Have a morning routine. Trust me, you already have one. It just may not be purposeful. You may wake up in the morning and be like,
yo, what's up? I'm gonna go shower and then take care of the kids, or I'm gonna, maybe do something today, maybe I'll run ads.
But you don't have an actual plan. Have it written down, have an actual morning routine. Focus on deeper purpose spiritually. Now, you can use that however you'd like. I am a Christian, but you can use it however you'd like, but find a deeper purpose of why you're actually doing what you're doing. It's much easier for you to get up in the morning to make these things happen. Please don't negate this number 10. I promise you, all right? If you look at every single person who's been successful in the early stages, they journaled, they did these things, and if you look at them now, they're like, oh yeah, I was more successful when I did those things. And the people who've kept up with them, doing a lot better right now. Okay, so now you have 10 years of advice. You're ready to start driving traffic. Go watch this video on paid ads for your brand right here next. All right, y'all, have a great rest of your day. I will see you next time, and P.S., make sure you subscribe.